Hello, everybody. This is the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is dedicated to Inside Mari, Chapter 67. And while not the first time this has happened, this chapter does not seem to have a title anywhere that we can find. So it's just going to be Chapter 67. And we open up right where we left off last time with Isao waking up next in front of Mari. We got a nice little dual page spread of her calling him Komori.
We finally get to see her face. Doo-doo!
Yeah. Yay.
And it's a lot better because the last time we saw her face was kind of like very shadowy and like very deformed.
Oh, you mean like
This one's actually like.
Do you mean last chapter where we got the Wooby face?
No. What did I say last? I mean, when right before Isao got like deleted or.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we see her actually have a real face, and it's kind of solemn, very sad.
Yep.
It's supposed to be beautiful, but it's also very sad. So I think it really captured that type of thing, especially with the way the sun hits her face. It's actually very good piece of artwork right there.
Yeah. And pretty much the first thing Mari does is say, "Let's take a walk." So they're immediately outside. Isao's like in a good mood here. It's like a dream come true, walking side by side with her. Like, she even gives him some chocolate, which, wow, it's not even Valentine's Day.
It was like maybe like last week, so
Yeah.
maybe,
yeah, for us. Yeah, true.
Maybe as he was writing this, or drawing this, it was Valentine's Day. So who knows? But yeah, she tries to give him chocolate, and he doesn't take it because he says that he feels like he's forgetting something, and of course that something is Yori. We don't know about.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. That'll get mentioned in a little bit. Yeah, and then right after that, they come across a crying little girl.
Yeah, gee, I wonder who that is.
Yep. Well, Isao does wonder, and she immediately introduces herself as Fumiko Yoshizaki.
And she says that she's lost. That's a big sentence right there.
Understatement too.
Yeah. So Mari comes in, and she says, "Okay, well, why don't I help you find your way back home?" Takes Fumiko by the hand, and then says, "Komori, see you. I'll see you later." And then
Wait, what?
I was like, "What? Wait, I'll help you look." And she's like, "No, you can't. The girl over there is waiting for you." And then he turns back and sees a flash of blinding light, and he says, "Yori-san."
Yep, and then
so of course, it turns out we were right. It's Yori, obviously.
Yeah, he turns back and sees Mari and Fumiko walking away. He tries to chase after them, but it's like Komori's like, "I'm sorry, I saw your journal." Like, wait, what? What do you mean my journal? I don't have a journal.
See ya.
What? See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Well, technically she is him.
True.
So, kind of already.
Yeah. See ya. You get to be me.
That's basically it.
And then
he wakes up in Mari's body. Of course, we all know it's just basically the personality coming back.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Mari-san."
Yep.
And then she's alone in the bedroom, by the way.
Yeah. So
that's a big thing because the last time we saw her in the real world, Yori was on her body and her mom was like yelling at her to get off, all that. So that means some time has passed between that.
Yep.
These two chapters.
Question now is how much?
Yeah, how much time and what happened?
Hours, days, weeks?
I don't know. I'd say this.
I would say days tops.
Tops, yes. You know, I went back, by the way. I'm still reading the previous chapters, and you know, it's kind of the mom's design is so different. I mean, she looks so average in the earlier chapters, and then they made her look a lot more like Mari in the later ones to kind of show how she tried to, you know, make Mari into her own image.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like I felt like there should have been a little more. I don't know. It basically what it came down to was, let's take a walk. Bye. I mean, there's Fumiko. Bye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it was.
I kind of see where you're coming from there too. I do like the fact that even though we pretty much already knew it or suspected it, this pretty much gives us the explicit confirmation of at least three personalities here. We have Isao, Mari, and Fumiko. And I remember when I mentioned it to you, you were tweeting that you thought this might mean the series could go on longer. I hadn't realized that at the time what you meant, but now I realize kind of what you were probably referring to that line about the journal, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Okay, because otherwise everything else is still kind of on track to wrap up in some way. Maybe take a little longer than we thought. But yeah, that journal is a question now. Like, does the actual Isao have a journal?
And keep in mind that Isao has yet to realize that he is just a personality. He hasn't come to terms with that idea, that fact.
Yeah.
So until that happens, the manga will continue.
Nope.
It is close to the end, but I think we got like an extra 10 chapters that we didn't really think of.
Yeah.
Was going
Now,
to happen.
here's a question here. That for the longest time we pretty much stopped calling calling her Isao, and calling her Mari. Will that change now that we know that we are actually dealing with explicit personalities?
It kind of does. Well, the reason why is because we have to differentiate between him and the the Mari inside his body.
Yeah.
When we go back to the outside world next chapter, we will go back to saying Mari, but because it's inside her head, we
Yeah.
have to differentiate. Think about it. We're saying Fumiko, we're saying Mari, and we're saying Asao. All three are the same person. But we have to differentiate them because there are three personalities in there.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's kind of hard to. It's also because it was easy to say it was Mari because she was literally in Mari's body. But now that we see in her head, we see her personified as Isao. Like we see Isao in front of our faces.
Yeah.
So in our heads, we're just saying, oh, it's Isao.
Yeah.
Even though the real Isao's out there and doesn't even look the same anymore. So that's why
Yeah.
we call him Isao now. But next
Yeah.
chapter we go back to calling him Mari.
Yeah, or at the very least we can use Isao and Mari interchangeably unless real Isao shows up.
Yeah.
At which point we
'Cause
would
then
definitely
when
use
that
Mari.
happens- Because then there's real Mari, and then there's real Asao, then there's original Mari who was actually Fumiko, then there's the new Mari who's Asao.
Yeah,
The frick!
basically we have Fumiko Mari, we have Mari, or Lay Down Mari, as we originally called her, and Isao Mari.
Yeah, lie down Mari, that's interesting. So I wonder why. Well, let's see. Okay, she said she's take a walk, right? So I thought she was gonna say something to him, but she doesn't say anything to him. What
wonder
was
if-
the point of the walk to show Fumiko?
I think that, or maybe to find Fumiko.
Okay,
Like,
fine,
maybe-
Fumiko, but
Maybe Mari was looking for Fumiko, and then they kind of walk off together. It's like Mari's like, "Okay, it's your problem now. It's your body now." I almost
Yeah,
wonder.
it
I
seems
almost
that-
wonder if that's permanent. Like she's giving up for Isao.
but then
I-
we don't know anything. We
Yeah,
don't know who this Mari is.
That's why I doubt that's the case. It just kind of gave us
That's
that
exactly.
impression on the reread here.
Exactly. That's why I said. That's another reason why I said that we're gonna have to. It might be longer because we still don't know anything about this Mari. I mean, we know a lot about Fumiko. We know a lot about the style personality. We don't know anything about this Mari. We don't know how she was able to kind of switch personalities. We don't know why she was acting the way she did. You know, with Yori. I mean, we kind of know, but there's no real. She doesn't really talk about herself, so we don't really confirm anything. Um, I mean, it's really it really feels like there's more. There needs to be more. So that's why I said it was going to go on longer. And yes, let's go. Let's talk about the journal now, because so apparently she's okay. First off, she says, "I'm sorry, I saw your journal," and I'm assuming that whatever that journal was what caused the personality to change that night. You know? 'Cause,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, you're right. That could actually be the tipping point.
But I think the reason why this Asao doesn't remember the journal is because if he remembers the journal, he'll realize that he'll remember he'll remember Mari looking at it and then kind of he'll remember the process that he was made with. So maybe that's why
Yeah.
he can't remember it.
True. Like, people never remember the day they were born.
Pretty much.
Or
And that might be
another
this
option.
case.
Another option is that whatever weight she found in the journal, like, upset her enough that she repressed the memory. That's one reason it transferred to Asao
first
either.
off,
Well, did that really work in this case? I think I can see you were about to head with this. But go ahead.
Well, the thing I'm about to say was that when she says your journal, is she talking about the real Isao's journal?
That's also a point to consider, because we know Isao's Mari didn't keep one that we know of.
Yeah, because so when Mari is talking to Isao in this chapter, it's the Mari personality talking to Isao personality, right? And I'm assuming that this Mari personality knows that this is not the real Isao. So when she says your journal, is she just saying in terms of convenience that it was the real Isao's journal? Like you know,
That would
does she
seem-
even differentiate between the two?
Yeah, I mean, that would seem the obvious one. There could be some other meaning to this, I wonder, though. I mean,
Like, because the curious part is that what is her sense of self? Like, so this is in her
Screwed
head.
up.
This is the okay, this is the one that actually understands what's going on, right? She
Yeah.
acknowledges that this is Fumiko, and she acknowledges this is Cell, and then she knows that she's basically in in someone's head. So when she says "your," I'm assuming she's talking to Asao because she's still trying to treat him like because he hasn't come to terms with who he is yet. So
Right.
I'm assuming that she's still going with the going with the flow in this sense, and just saying, okay, yeah, you're Asao, and then and then talks to him like as if he was Asao. Okay, going with the program. That's what I wanted to say. That's not
Okay.
going with the program. So, yeah. So when she says your journal, it is a tough thing to say because if she has to be talking about she has to be talking about the real Sal because if it was the personality's journal, it would technically mean her journal as well. So
Yeah.
it would have to be the real Sal's journal. And of course, the journal I'm assuming was everything that all of his like events and background and all that stuff that she copied to turn him into a Sal. But why is that important? Because we knew that that's what she basically did. She was stalking him, she was observing him. Why bring a journal into this? Like, what's the point of that?
Right. I mean, I think you might be right there. Like, there's obviously that journal is the big thing on there, and part of me is like thinking like that's the most obvious guess. So it seems off that would be the correct one, but it does seem the most likely with what you're saying.
I mean, like, what makes this? It's because he actually has evidence that he can use to trigger the fact that he's not real. Because again, we knew that she copied all the information. Whether through a journal or whether through by observation, it doesn't really matter. So why make this journal special? So
Here's a question for you: Will you, assuming Yori's allowed to have contact with Mari, will she tell him about this?
she has to go to school,
Yeah.
right?
Not
Is she
in this condition.
right?
That can justify keeping
Well,
her
she
out.
eventually has to go to school, right?
Presumably.
Like, what's gonna happen, right? Wait, is she gonna be moved away? She's like, oh, and your mom's like, well, you're gonna be homeschooled from the rest of your life from now on, or we're gonna move away.
Or you're in no condition to go to school anymore because you're effing crazy. Says the woman who gave her daughter this personality dissociation disorder or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I kind of wanted to. So okay. So our predictions were completely off, right? Because we thought that maybe this is the point where something happens, where maybe the Mari's fused, or the real Mari comes back, or Fumiko comes back, or whatever. As it turns out, no, it's Sal just comes back. The actual personality, the personality of a Sal comes back. We didn't. What was? Why? Okay, so I have a question. Is why did? Okay, he was destroyed basically, and I'm assuming that Yori brought him back because remember that the Mari personality is basically like you got someone to go back to, and I'm assuming she brought him back to have a connection with Yori.
Yeah.
But what was the plan before that? Like,
well,
was she just like leaving him there to be catatonic for the rest of or leaving herself there to be catatonic?
I don't think there was any real plan per se. That assumed she had some goal to reach.
I mean, like, why
didn't we?
Like, because
he
was getting too close to the truth.
I think that might have been it. I think that was our guess at the time. Definitely, it's like something in that vein.
Maybe she still believes that, but maybe in this case she just changed her mind, saying, at this point I think it's better to just have Yori with us, so have a connection with Yori, and therefore I will bring you back because you're the one who basically made a connection with her. Because I think that Fumiko is Fumiko's the original, so obviously she's the one that needs the most healing. But this Mari is also the one that kind of is so aloof, and the social connections she had were all fake. So I think though she wanted to bring the Sal personality back because this is the one that actually did something real. Like he made a real connection with a person, and I think that's why she brought him back.
Yeah. No, I wonder if that could be what Mari and Fumiko have gone off to do, like to actually start the merging process.
Possibly. Because let's face it, Fumiko can't come back as an individual personality. They wouldn't work that way, because
that would cause a whole new set of troubles.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they're going together, and then when they finally find Fumiko's home or where she belongs, they will fuse, and then the Asao personality will fuse with them, and that's when So I think what has to happen is that he has to realize who he is. He has to understand that he is just another personality. And I think during that moment is also when Fumiko and Mari kind of find Fumiko's home,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would fuse together, and then that's when the newest,
Ooh.
most healed Mari comes out.
Right? Random little thought from what you're just saying. Like, imagine we're back in Mari's head. She's helping Fumiko get home, and home is like the grandmother's home.
Oh, that'd be awesome. They should do that. No, that's good. That'd be awesome. Let's do that. No, that's great.
Just because that would be fitting with the fact that it's like the grandmother that's like probably like the one that treated her right.
Yeah. So let's go for that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So I think we got everything done here on this one. Like, did you have anything else you wanted to add on there?
No.
All right. Well, in that case, that has been our review of Inside Mari, Chapter 67, titled To Be Determined. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye.